Well, hello, IDS 105 students, and welcome to week 7 here in the IDS 105 learning community. Y'all, I wanted to welcome you to the last 2 weeks of your IDS 105 term. These next 2 weeks are going to go very quickly, so it's so important that you pay attention to your due dates, your deadlines, and just really buckle in and make that time to finish these last couple weeks of your term strong. First and foremost, your experience here at Southern New Hampshire University is important to us. It is our policy and practice to create an inclusive and accessible learning environment. If there are aspects of instruction or course design that present barriers to accessibility, please notify the Online Accessibility Center, the OAC, as soon as possible at 866-305-9430. You can also email them at oac@snhu.edu or visit the Online Accessibility Center website. Couple of webinar reminders. This is an academic space, so always be mindful of your conduct and your comments, both here in the webinar space, on the First Year Experience YouTube page, in your classroom, and in SNHU Connect. As a reminder, the webinars and videos that are presented in the IDS 105 learning community are not graded. They're not required. You don't get any points. There's no extra credit, but hopefully they're helping you learn where your assignments are in your course from week to week, how to do those assignments, and understanding the concepts that we've talked about in week to week in your courses. So, final 2 weeks. This week in week 7, I wanted to bring your attention to a couple of things. The only thing that you have actually due for a grade is that final project submission, that guidebook. You have been working on this guidebook all term long. That is the only thing that is due this week, and it is due on Sunday. You will notice, and I will show you in the classroom space, that there is a discussion opportunity. However, that discussion is not graded. It's not required. You don't have to do anything with it. It is just a place and a space in your class to ask questions about submitting your guidebook, about the project, or sharing any tips or tricks that you've learned along the way, working on your guidebook, or things you've learned in your IDS 105 class. Again, you just have the final project that is graded, that guidebook, due on Sunday, and there is a discussion opportunity, but it is not graded. This week, you are going to be focusing in on cleaning up and submitting that template, that document, that guidebook that you have worked on all term. So starting back in Module 2, you picked a scenario to focus on. You answered questions retaining and relevant to that scenario in Module 2, Module 3, and Module 4. And then in Module 5, you picked a conflict from your scenario to help you answer the questions. Each week, as you turned in those project drafts, your instructor spent time giving you feedback on how you did. You might have done really well. You might have maybe needed to add some extra examples or details, or there might have been spelling errors or grammar errors. The key is taking a look at what your instructor left in the grade center for your feedback for each draft and make any changes as they suggest. I will tell you, when I grade these for my own classroom, I pull up the completed guidebook, that final project, and I compare it to each project draft that was submitted. Now, I want to make it very clear that you are not starting over. You are not selecting a new scenario. You are not creating a new document, okay? You are literally submitting a cleaned up version of the template that you have worked on all term long. If for some reason you broke the template up into individual documents, make sure you combine it all back together to make one cohesive document. If you didn't use the template and kind of created your own document, make sure you have all pieces and parts completed in one document that you turn in for your final project, your guidebook. As always, if you have questions, if you're stuck, if you're not sure on something, you want to reach out to your actual IDS 105 course instructor, because they are the ones that are grading your assignment and have worked with you all term on this. So again, you're not picking anything new, you're not creating anything new, you just want to make sure you're cleaning up and submitting either the template you worked on or whatever document that you put your drafts on, but you want to make sure everything is one place in one cohesive document before you turn it in, okay? As a reminder, as always, use your resources. This is a great time to not only reach out to your instructor, but also to tap into using the academic support written feedback tool. It's such a wonderful service for you to go ahead and actually upload your completed guidebook or project to the academic services written feedback tool. Let them know what you would like them to kind of double check or look into, and you'll get feedback within 24 hours. Don't forget, you have Office 365 for free. You cannot submit video note submissions for this assignment. Okay, it has to be that written document. The discussion is not graded, but you're more than welcome to share your thoughts and ideas in that space. Do not share it in any part of your final project, but it's a great place to just share tips and ideas. As a reminder, the only thing due is that final project, that guidebook on Sunday. Okay, so that is what is due for week 7. Module 7 in your IDS 105 course. But as we transition into these last couple of weeks of your class, and even heading into the upcoming term for your new classes, I wanted to just take a minute and kind of talk to you all about really understanding how you are doing. So I like to ask students all the time, do you know how to assess yourself? Do you even know what that means? It's important for us both personally, professionally, academically, to take some time and just do a quick self-assessment from time to time. Some people do this all the time. Others, it's like every 5 years, we're like, maybe I need to check in with myself. But we want you to really consider how you have done so far this term. Ask yourself those hard questions and really think about how your term is gone, maybe where you need to make some improvements, how you can stay on track, any communication or connections you need to make with resources, and how to take action for your success. So asking yourself those hard questions, I like to call these the hard truths. I want you to just think for a minute, what is one thing that you are so proud of that you did this term? And I encourage you, once you watch the webinar, to share this on the First Year Experience YouTube page or in SNHU Connect, or tell your instructor. But like, what is one thing that you're really proud of? This could be inside the classroom or outside the classroom. Like maybe you did a really great job of getting your assignments in on time. Maybe your grades are looking really good. Or maybe it was outside of school, like you were able to kind of manage your time and prioritize your time so you didn't feel like super overwhelmed. So think first, what is something you're really proud of? Because I think often when we're asked to kind of think about how we're doing, we automatically go to the negative. No, let's start with the positive. Like, what is that one thing or a couple of things that you're so proud of and you know that you did really well? What are the things that you were strong in this term? Like, were you strong with managing your time? Were you strong in being organized? Were you stronger than you thought maybe in your writing? Or you're working through your grammar as you worked on assignments. Maybe you just had a really open mind and that surprised you. You know, what are those strengths? And then I want you to kind of think about what is an area that you're like, yeah, I've got to fix this. I have to improve this for me to be my best student and really ensure that I can pass my classes and achieve my degree. Maybe you struggled with managing your time. Maybe you didn't make that SNHU time, or you didn't have a routine, or maybe you didn't have a study space. So how can you change that moving forward for the next term to kind of set yourself up for success? But also think about like what you can do, but also who can help you, right? It is so important. You might have had an amazing term this term, which is awesome. And hopefully most, if not all of your terms are incredible. However, there always tends to be a few sticky terms where things just do not go as planned. Maybe you struggle with the content or the assignment. That could have been this term. The biggest thing is to take a deep breath and just remember that you have the opportunity to be here and be getting your degree and to be learning. So you have to stay positive. And when things are tough or when you're not sure on something, remember to communicate for your success. You can set up appointments with your instructors, with your advisors. You can set up appointments with our tutoring services, with the SNHU mentor team. You can use the written feedback services, the library. You can set up appointments in so many ways. You can also email questions. Some faculty members might even text message. You can also pick up that good old-fashioned phone. But this doesn't just apply inside the classroom. This also applies outside the classroom, because maybe everything in the classroom went awesome, but outside the classroom, work or home life was, could have been better. It was mid, right? So if we need to make changes, we need to make sure that we're communicating with the people that can help us make those changes or make an impact so that we can be our best student and get everything done so that we can achieve our goal. So just as a reminder, here at the university, you can always find your university resources by going into your Brightspace classroom, click on the help arrow and click on online student services, and it pulls up all the departments. You can always access your instructor. Remember there's that My Instructor announcement in your course. You can see their phone number, their email address, hours that they're available, how to get a hold of them. Plus you have your advisors, you have the career team, you have academic support offering, written feedback services, there's workshops, there's tutors, Plus you have our wonderful SNHU mentors that are here, those peer mentors. SNHU Connect has a lot of the learning communities. Plus they have the student clubs and organizations, the library, the help desk. I mean, the SNHU list is endless, and I know it can be overwhelming. So think of one department or one resource that you could really utilize for your success, or one that maybe you did utilize and you're like, I need to keep using them for my success. And then outside of that, like think about the support you have outside the classroom. Maybe this is with your significant other or parents or kids or friends or coworkers, extended family, pets, whatever it might be. None of it matters if you're not connecting and utilizing it. So take the time to think about what went well this term and how you want to keep doing those habits as you finish this term strong and move into future terms. But also remember where you struggled and think about who you can connect with and what you can do to make changes so you don't struggle with that in future terms. So I always like to tell students, like, this is the time to take action for your success and really think about it. You know, today's the day. What are you going to do about it? Nothing changes if nothing changes. As you come into these last 2 weeks of your class and flip right into another term, things move quickly. So make sure that you have that SNHU time mapped out. Look and see where you struggled, what resources you connect with, and just really give it your best shot. But remember, if anything, remember that you are 100% worth this journey. You are 100% worth being here and having this academic opportunity. We believe in you and we're so excited for you. You got this, okay? So I want to take a minute and just show you guys the classroom space just real fast here for Module 7. As a reminder, up at the top, you click that help arrow. There's some super helpful student tutorial videos, but also you can click on online student services and it pulls up all the departments here at the university. This is another reminder too, that if you have for some reason fallen behind in any of your classes this term, take a minute and reach out to your instructor of that course. See if they would be willing to let you submit some of the assignments maybe you were missing or struggled on for any points. I always tell students some points are better than no points. They can very well say no, but it's always worth asking. The answer is always no unless you ask, right? So this week in Module 7, as always, course menu, learning modules, and then you want to scroll down to the week that we're on, and we are on Module 7. When you click on Module 7, I want to point out a couple of things. One, once you go through the introduction, as always, you have the objectives and the overview. Always scroll down and scroll over, right? But I wanted to point out a couple of things in here. Make sure that you are reviewing the content that is within the module. You will notice this kind of wraps up the project a little bit and goes over some of the reminders and things that you covered in the project and those key concepts. Now, to get to your actual assignments, as always, just a reminder, you have those required resources section. There isn't anything required in this module because you've already been working on this project. There's no reading assigned for this week because you want to delve all your time into making sure you clean up your project, but there is some great optional resources for your success. Like I mentioned earlier too, you have that non-graded discussion. This is just really a space that's provided for you to ask questions, share tips for writing, putting together your guidebook, or maybe things that were helpful or motivational strategies for you as you work through this project and worked through your classes. Okay, so just a reminder, don't post anything about your project in here, but it's a great space. You do not have to do anything in the discussion if you do not want to. For this project, remember, always click on the guidelines and rubric, know how you're going to be graded. As always, there's that overview. It's going to give you a recap of the scenarios that you've used all term, just kind of the different parts of the project. Remember, if for some reason you need the template again, it's right here. You always have the scenario profiles, which if you click on them, it pulls up those scenario profiles again. But like I said, you are not creating anything new. You are literally just taking whatever drafts you put together, whether you use the template or you created your own document, and you're putting it all together into one cohesive document to submit for your success. The key is taking a look at what your faculty said from week to week when they graded your project drafts and making any necessary changes, adding things in that they might have needed. Maybe it was examples or details. Whatever it might be, that is what they're going to be looking for. Again, if you're stuck on something, you're not sure on something, please make sure you reach out to your instructor. Okay? All right, y'all, that is it for week 7. We are so excited to see these final guidebooks come to fruition and get them turned in. After this week, you only have 1 week left, and we're so excited for you. So finish strong. Have an amazing week 7. And remember, you got this.